Coming up on First at 4, members of the Kentucky National Guard fly home to reunite with family members just before Thanksgiving. And data from the CDC shows drug overdose deaths have gone down within the last 2 months nationwide.
And chilly air continues to hold the fort down here in the mountains through the end of the week. The full breakdown coming up as First at 4 continues.
Mountain News First at 4 continues.
Nearly a year after being deployed, members of the Kentucky National Guard are back in the Commonwealth. The soldiers assigned to Task Force Mountain Warriors deployed to Kosovo back in January. Today, they were reunited with their families after a long wait. Julia Sandor was there for the emotional return.
Kentucky National Guard soldiers flew home to Lexington today and were reunited with their family members. They tell me this is a moment they'll never forget. Arms were wide open and hugs were held tight. After a year-long deployment in Kosovo, Kentucky Guardsmen were finally able to see their loved ones.
For me, he's my peanut, so seeing that curly hair top over everybody in the crowd, I was excited to just have my baby home.
Trayvon Runyon comes from a military family, and they say they're so proud to hear about everything he and his battalion have accomplished. The 1st Battalion 149th Infantry Mountain Warriors work together to help people overseas in Kosovo.
Very rewarding opportunity to be a part of a NATO mission for us, and definitely just the opportunity to do this with the soldiers that are in our task force. So we're all very thankful, and it's nice to come to a close and to be able to finish this all up.
Soldiers say the feelings they have are hard to put into words, but being home in time for the holidays and holding their kids, parents, or partners close is what they're looking forward to.
It's very special, and so it's just nice to be able to see them after such a long period of time away. So very thankful.
And all of the soldiers that I spoke to tell me that they're so proud to be a part of this group. In Lexington, Julia Sandor, WKYT.
The soldiers say they do not have much planned today, but they cannot wait to spend some time with their families. Donations are piling in for victims of the Magoffin County school bus crash that happened earlier this week. The Magoffin County Board of Education has received many gift cards and checks. One thing really needed is gas money so families can afford to drive wherever for medical care. Superintendent Chris Meadows says students and staff are also finding other ways to support the victims.
A lot of our schools are working on get well cards to deliver to the students and driver and families.
Meadows says to the Board of Education's knowledge, there are still 8 victims hospitalized, 7 of which are students and the other being the driver. And no other information has been released about their conditions. We'll have more tonight at 6. As communities throughout the region continue to work to recover from July's flood, outside help is still rolling in. Today, 2 truckloads of supplies were delivered to Manna from Heaven in Myra as Rockingham Cooperative out of Virginia donated more than $80,000 in food, clothing, hygiene items, and more to help the people of Pike and Letcher counties recover. President and founder of the outreach says the help came when the people in her community needed it most.
People's having problems coming up with food. Their houses ain't completely finished yet. It's been real rough on people.
Coming up at 6, we'll have more from the outreach and how connecting with entities like Rockingham Cooperative is keeping its community fed and fueled.
Well, the sunshine arrived for many of us just in time for a pretty nice sunset on this cold Thursday evening here in the mountains. Here's a look outside right now at the Mountain Parkway at Slade. Yes, the cones are still out as they continue to finish up the work there on the parkway. 37 the current temperature there. You see that sun kind of hiding behind one of the remaining clouds there. It begin a little darker, a little cooler. Same thing in downtown Whitesburg, where it's more like the sun has set behind the mountain there in Whitesburg at this hour. We're all a clean sweep on pinpoint Doppler. Nothing to worry about in terms of any rainfall, let alone, we do have a few clouds, but the rainfall, it's long to be found. as we head through the rest of the night. Middle and upper 30s right now, a few 40s down in places like Harlan, Jonesville, Middlesboro, and into Jacksboro at this hour. And speaking of precipitation, by the way, officially just checked, we did pick up a trace of snow at Jackson early this morning. Good thing we are all dry now. Keep that First Alert weather app handy, though, especially if you're headed out to high school football tomorrow night. You see, it's going to be kind of a carbon copy of the day, and we fall through the 30s and into the 20s as we head into the overnight. Details, though, on when we return to some slightly milder conditions in a few minutes. Steve?
Evan, thank you. A Garrett County man is facing a bevy of charges from a chase that went through 3 counties early this morning. The chase ended in Junction City in Boyle County after starting in Garrett County, where police say a deputy sheriff was almost hit and the suspect's own son yanked from a truck that he used to try and get away. At one point during the chase, Paul David Brown was clocked at 100 miles per hour. He was eventually brought under control and arrested. Apart from the charges from the chase, Brown is also facing marijuana and drug paraphernalia charges. Teens say their experience on social media is more positive than adults may think. Pew Research Center surveyed around 1,300 teens. 80% said social media gives them some level of connection to what's going on in their friends' lives. Teens also said social media helps them get support from their community. But only 27% said that their experience is even worse than their parents think. They said negative experiences stemmed from screen time and the impacts of online drama. Researchers also said parents should talk with their teens about social media use because there are still individual circumstances and downsides to consider. Drug overdose deaths are trending downward. Provisional data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention shows drug overdose deaths fell 3 months in a row. About 107,600 people died from drugs during the 12-month period ending in June. That's about 2,600 fewer than the 12-month period ending in March. While the trend is hopeful, overdose deaths are still 50% higher than they were 2 years ago. Most of the deaths were caused by synthetic opioids like fentanyl. Psychostimulants like methamphetamine accounted for 1/3 of the deaths. Taylor Swift's The Eras Tour is shining a light on Ticketmaster's power as the country's largest concert promoter. The Ticketmaster website crashed as verified fans rushed to buy tickets for the singer's upcoming tour. The tickets now available on the resale market, with some priced at tens of thousands of dollars. Meanwhile, lawmakers are questioning the state of competition for the ticketing industry and saying Ticketmaster is abusing its market power. CBS's Isabel Rosales has more.
This is the biggest concert of my life! Taylor Swift's fans across the country in a state of desperation after the Ticketmaster website appeared to crash during the pre-sale for the singer's upcoming Eras Tour. But not all the fans got lucky.
Ticketmaster takes the $490 out of my account, but it crashed.
Best believe I'm still bejeweled when I walk in the room. The return of the pop star to the live stage causing turmoil, with lawmakers questioning the dominance of Ticketmaster as the country's largest concert promoter, also arguing that the recent setback for the pop star's fans is only a symptom of a larger problem. Senator Amy Klobuchar in an open letter to Ticketmaster's CEO saying she has serious concerns about the company's operations. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez taking to Twitter saying, daily reminder that Ticketmaster is a monopoly. Its merger with Live Nation should never have been approved, and they need to be reined in. Ticketmaster's response: there has been historically unprecedented demand, with millions showing up to buy tickets for Swift's tour.
Didn't want the ticket prices to be over $20.
Complaints about the company's monopoly power go back to 1994, when the rock group Pearl Jam filed a complaint with the Justice Department's Antitrust Division, saying Ticketmaster has a virtually absolute monopoly on the distribution of tickets to concerts. The complaint was later dismissed. I'm Isabel Rosales reporting.
Now, there's late word about Taylor Swift's pre-sale and public on-sale, which was supposed to be tomorrow. If you were waiting to get tickets tomorrow, you are out of luck. The public on-sale for the tour, which again was scheduled for tomorrow, has been canceled due to, quote, extraordinarily high demands on ticketing systems and insufficient remaining ticket inventory to meet that demand. As of this afternoon, Ticketmaster has not yet announced a backup plan for the public on sale. So stay tuned for more. Coming up as First at 4 continues, we find out which pickup trucks receive the highest safety ratings.
Plus, keeping it chilly as we head right on into the weekend. In fact, I'm sure a few folks in this line already starting. Details on when we see it coming up in a few minutes.